Greetings everybody. Today I want to talk about my Mauser and the fact that the rear sight is finally fixed. Hallelujah. Finally, after, Jesus, I've had this rifle for what, like 8 some months? I've had it for a very long time, and now finally the rear sight is fixed, and I think I've gotten it pretty much zeroed. Anyway, so before I show you the targets and talk a little bit about the Mauser a little bit, talk about the Mauser, you know what I mean, talk about the Mauser a bit, I just want to say that this was a pretty long and arduous and expensive journey. I've spent over $100 alone on the rear sight. What I mean by that is, real quick, the first time I wanted a new rear sight, I actually took it to a specialized gunsmith, a gunsmith that knew about old rifles, but apparently he was an idiot and didn't realize that World War II Mausers are supposed to be zeroed at 100 yards, not 300. So he put I think it was like an Argentine fucking 1909 sight on it that is only, goes between 300 and out to 1,000 or something. Really stupid. That made the rifle hit very, 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 very high. We're talking like 500, 600 yards zero on it. It was insane. Then, that was $74. Then I got a new sight off of eBay that was actually turned out to be a VZ24 rear sight. Shit, that was like $15. And now my new rear sight is $25 in total after shipping, the $5 shipping, $20 sight. But silver lining to this, I now actually have a rear sight that actually works, and also, if I get a VZ24 and it doesn't have a good rear sight, I got a replacement. So, that's something at least. Not that I'm planning on getting a VZ24 anytime soon, but maybe one day. Anyway, so, all that prelude, how did shooting go? First up, I was using Yugoslavian 8mm 196 grain FMJ ball ammo, basically, M49 ball. This ammunition apparently is slightly out of spec because it doesn't always chamber correctly, but PPU seems to always chamber correctly. So it's either the rifle, the ammo, or both. I will definitely know once I get some of that good Romanian steel case stuff that I really want. And by that time, I'll definitely have stripper clips, so maybe by then all of the rifle's funk will be gone. Anyway, let me go ahead and show you all the targets up close to 50 and 100 yards. Okay, so that's at 50. This is the first target. This was me, tapping the front sight over with a hammer. I was still sort of experimenting where this rifle hits, and if I remember correctly, I need to get more trigger time to really memorize it. I believe this rifle now hits about 3 inches high at 50 with the Yugo. So next time I'm shooting it, I will, in fact, probably be able to get a better group than that at 50. Do keep in mind that the front sight hood is not on, and I think the front sight hood gives a much nicer sight picture. That's just my personal opinion. The front blade is a bit narrow for me, but hey, that ain't horrid. However, we move over to the next target at 50. Yeah. That's way better. That flyer up there, I believe that was my friend shooting it. Those two down there that might be PPU, I actually don't know. I did shoot some PPU out of it, but I don't know where it hit. I think PPU hits super low because it's super low velocity. But that's pretty damn good, all things considered. So I'm going to call that practically zeroed. I need a front sight tool to really fine tune it. By the way, this is a 196 grain bullet moving about 2,500 feet per second. PPU is a 196 grain bullet moving about 2,100 feet per second. It is significantly underloaded. However, the first, the first target at 100, this is at 100. But you see those two shots, yeah, that's, basically in line. It's probably me. However, this one, bullseye, at least one. and more shots are effectively in line. So I don't want to say I got it perfectly zeroed. I will definitely know once I get more trigger time with this rifle, get some more ammunition, because I absolutely do need more ammunition at this point. I only probably have about 20, 25, maybe 30 rounds of the Yugoslavian left and about 12 of PPU. I don't have a lot of 8 Mauser left. This was out of a 150 round package. So I hit the bullseye. Now, all of that variation, that's definitely me not really knowing where this rifle hits. But once I figure that out, once I figure out exactly where this rifle is hitting, where I actually have to adjust at 50 and at 100 yards, then I'm sure I will be able to do way, way better. It's sort of the same story with my Mauser. Once I got it zeroed first off and found out where exactly it's hitting at 50 and 100 yards, I was able to put most of the rounds in the center at 100. I still wish I had one of those targets, but I did. Next ammunition review is probably going to be on Red Army Standard 7.62x54 rimmed out of my Mauser Nagant. That ammo is good, but I do have some gripes with it. Anyway, all that being said, everything went fairly well except for the chambering issues. What I mean by that is I would go to load a round, but the bolt just would not close. I even punched on the bolt to try to make it close. Wasn't having it. So I had to open the bolt. The round was actually stuck in the chamber. I had to take a clearing rod and ram it through the barrel to get that round out. I clicked the round back into the magazine, and then it chambered. I don't know what the fuck is going on. It's either the ammunition, either the rifle, or it's both. I looked in the bore. I looked in the chamber with a flashlight. There's no ring of brass or anything in there that would cause a sort of really tight chamber. If that was the case, then not even PPU would chamber. But PPU does chamber. And the first time I shot this rifle, I had 0 issues with chambering. But as soon as I got to the Yugo, then I started to have problems. So I do think it is a chambering issue. Also, sometimes the magazine just failed to load a round up to present a round to the bolt. I don't really know what's going on. If any of y'all are Mauser experts, or if you know exactly what's going on, and maybe it's just not the ammunition, let me know. It could just be Yugo ammo. This is 1950s M49 spec brass ammunition, so I don't know. Also, sometimes the bolt would get really hard to open. I would have to stand up and just really heave-ho that bolt open. Now, my Mauser does in fact have a pretty hefty firing pin spring, which is a good thing. It means that I will be able to use surplus ammunition that has hard primers, like Greek, for example. Greek is known for having sort of hard primers. So, in fact, Greek ammunition is some ammunition I actually want to try. It's cheap, and it's available now, and it should be decent ammunition. I saw a video by Readiness Reviews, him shooting some of it. It works fairly well if you have a firing pin spring that can actually ignite it. One of his rifles just wasn't having it, so he could have easily done a second strike on that. Like, come on, man. Anyway, regardless, the rifle is practically zeroed, practically fixed. Gonna put the front hood back on and call it a day for a while until I get a proper front sight tool. And once I do that, oh buddy, I'm going to be anal about zeroing this front sight, because I'm not dealing with this shit no more. So the next ammunition I do want to get, it's either going to be Greek or Romanian. I'm very curious about the Romanian steel case, a lacquered steel case. That shit should just chamber perfectly, because it is a slightly shorter case. It's 7.92x56. However, the shoulder of the cartridge is in the same spot, so there's no problem with headspace. I think the Romanians did this to prevent chamber issues and extraction issues and all that. But my question is, that ammunition, who did they make it for? Because it was made in the 1970s. Probably the Yugoslavs, right? The M76 rifle. Super cool rifle. It's an AK in 8 Mauser. Like, what's not to love? It's so weird and cool. Anyway, I am pretty satisfied, pretty happy. Actually, I'm very happy with how my rear sight is now actually fucking fixed, and I'm just elated. I'm really just am elated. Finally, the saga of looking for new rear sights is over. It just took me a while, and I needed to buy a legit German-style Mauser rear sight. I was an idiot, and I thought all Mausers had pretty much the same rear sight. Nope. Anyway, I will definitely see about the other ammunition that I want to get to see where that stuff is hitting, and once I get the front sight hood on and more trigger time with this rifle, I'm sure I'll definitely be able to do a lot better. Now, before I end this video, I did have a mild scare with my Mauser, because the day before I went to the range, I was all, my Mauser could probably use a little bit of oil in there. It's been a while since I've oiled it. Okay, so took the bolt out, ran a patch of oil through the bore first, and then I saw something I didn't want to see. Brown-red. Reddish brown. And I had a fucking heart attack. I was all, please don't be corroded. I looked in the bore, it looked kind of dirty. I don't think I saw rust. But what I did to actually deep clean that bore, it's actually a mirror now. I took a 45 caliber brush, a 45 caliber bore brush, and forced it through with some cleaner on it. I did it through the muzzle and through the chamber, and I did this several times. I did this like maybe 50 times over the cleaning session. And I used a lot of patches, a lot of really powerful cleaner. I didn't use hops or anything corrosive. I used a cleaner that I have. Smells like lemon pledge. It's very weird, but it works extremely well. And the bore cleaned up extremely well, and it is a mirror. And I did the exact same treatment after I was done shooting, and I got it home. I ran some patches of ammonia-based Windex through it to get rid of the corrosion. And I used that bore brush trick again and again and again. I was using my Mosin's cleaning rod as a ram rod, effectively, because I couldn't find the other cleaning rod. But I did that several times. The bore is a mirror now. So this is going to be my cleaning routine for my Mauser. And there's a quick tip for y'all. If you really want to get it clean, shove a 45 caliber bore brush through it several times. Pretty much no residue or carbon or anything is going to be left in those grooves. So I know. It sounds a little overkill, but I was not having any of that nonsense. Regardless, I'm happy. The Yugo ammo seems to be fairly accurate ammo. I'll give it that. It's fairly accurate. Someone who's a better shot than me could probably do way better groups than me. Maybe about 1.5 MOA at 100 yards. Maybe. I don't know. Man, I need to learn where my rifle hits. And it's going to be different with each ammo, because the next ammo I want is light ball. And I will see how my rifle reacts to light ball that's moving faster. And before it's basically 50 to 200 yard zero. That'd be hilarious. Anyway, all that being said, I'm happy that my Mauser is practically fixed now. I just need to find out the chambering issues. Thank you guys so much for watching. And remember, in Trilby, we trust.